Hi, this is Miss Wright, and I'm going to go over the vocabulary words for list one of I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. I'm using Quizlet.com, and you can go to Quizlet anytime. You can download the app onto your phone, and you can practice your words anytime that you have some spare time. You can also create lists for yourself to study, not only for my class, but history, social studies, any class that you have terms that you need to know. You can also search Quizlet to find out if students in the past have created lists that you can use, and that would save you time. Okay, here we go. The first word is admonished. And admonish means to gently reprove, verbally correct, to advise somebody to do something or not to do something, more often not to do it. He took his dinner off the stove where he had carefully covered it and which he had admonished us not to bother. So if you are warning someone about their behavior, you are admonishing. This gentleman in this picture looks like he is warning his dog. Maybe his dog did something inappropriate. Anachronym. An anachronym is something that is out of the proper chronological order or chronological time period. And in this picture, a woman of the Renaissance has a computer, and that would be an anachronym. From the book, it says an independent black man, a near anachronism in stamps, because blacks didn't really get to live truly independent lives under the system of segregation. Appellations. Appellations. Names, titles, or designations, uncle, baba, sister, brother, and other thousand appellations indicating familial relationship and the lowliness of the addresser. So in many families, you don't speak to an older person without putting a title in front of it, like Auntie so and so or Uncle so and so, even if the person isn't a blood relation. In many families, if it's a close family friend, you refer to that person as Uncle Joe or Auntie Susan as a sign of respect. Cynic. A cynic is one who believes that others are selfish. A cynic is a skeptical person in general. They don't believe that people are motivated by good, but are motivated by their own self interest. So this gentleman is looking very disbelievingly into the camera. He had the air of a man who did, that should be not believe what he heard or what he himself was saying. He was the first cynic I had met. Deftness. Deftness. Deftness means quickness, skillfulness. He would pretend at first not to see us, but with the deftness of a cat, he would catch the ball. And this gentleman is juggling balls in the air, which is showing his deftness. Droll. Oh dear. Droll is amusing in an odd or wry way. I think this horse might have heard a funny joke. Um, a natural comedian, he never waited for the laugh that he knew must follow his droll statements. Okay? Amusing statements. Enunciation. Enunciation. Pronunciation, articulation. And it has to do with speaking clearly in public, especially, and talk down to their students with the lofty height of education and white folks' enunciation, meaning pronouncing things the way Caucasian people pronounce them, as opposed to the way the African Americans pronounce them. And this gentleman is obviously giving a speech. Flamboyant. Flamboyant is highly elaborate or showy, and these folks are dressed in very flamboyant costumes. Maybe it's carnival season or something. One of their more flamboyant escapades has become a proud family legend. That is from our novel, from our book. Impassivity. Impassivity. Expressionless, devoid of emotion. So this guard has to stand impassive as onlookers may try to get him to laugh or smile. The weight of appreciation and threat with which was never spoken of a return to Mama were burdens that clogged my childish wits with impassivity. So it's what she's thinking about is making her emotionless and making her unable to express her feelings. Nonchalance. Nonchalance. Cool indifference. And here's a coolest, Snoopy. His nonchalance was meant to convey his authority. This is Mr. Stewart in our book. Ominous. Ominous. The menacing, suggesting or indicating that something bad is going to happen or be revealed. And these clouds are ominous because they show that we are probably going to have a storm. The pew that held those ominous women called the mothers of the church. So these women of the church were very frightening. Pandemonium. Pandemonium. Oops, it looks like a pandemonium. Wild uproar or noise, chaos. I'll never know what might have happened because magically the pandemonium spread. And you can see this looks like a pandemonium here. Paranoia. Paranoia. Extreme irrational distrust of others. I was told even by fellow blacks that my paranoia was embarrassing. So if you think someone is out to get you or everyone is out to get you or you're being watched or followed, then you are paranoid. And Maya says that during her youth, she was paranoid. Proximity. The word is proximity. Closeness in space or time. Bailey persisted in calling her mother dear until the circumstance of proximity softened the phrase's formality to ma dear. So this is about their mom with whom they did not grow up. And when he first went back to live with her, he called her mother dear, but after a time he just said ma dear. Quandary. Quandary. Quandary is a state of uncertainty or perplexity, and this person might be in a quandary because they only have a bad choice or a worse choice. It was the same old quandary. I had always lived it. There was an army of adults whose motives and movements I just couldn't understand and who made no effort to understand mine. Rancor. Rancor. Bitter, long-lasting resentment. She seemed to hold no rancor against the babysitter. Rancor is anger, hatred towards something or someone. Sobriquet. Sobriquet. A sobriquet is an affectionate nickname like sweetie, dearie, lovey. In fact, even in their absence, they could not be spoken of too harshly unless we use the sobriquet they. And this is talking about how the African Americans referred to the Caucasian people, and they felt like they couldn't say anything too harsh because maybe they would be overheard or maybe someone would tell on them. So they always had to be careful how they spoke about the Caucasian people. And think of nickname when you think of sobriquet. Sparse, sparse, tiny, thinly spread or occurring with many spaces in between. You can see that the land is sparsely covered with crops or with vegetation here, not much growing. If he prophesied that the cotton in today's field was going to be sparse and um, stick to the bolls like glue, meaning not they would not be picking much cotton that day. Taffeta, taffeta. Taffeta is a fabric. It's used for formal wear. A stiff, lustrous silk or shiny or silky fabric with a slight rib used in women's clothing. The dress I wore was lavender taffeta, and each time I breathed, it rustled. Troubadours, troubadours. A troubadour is a singer who performs while strolling, especially in a restaurant. That would be modern day. And the picture goes back to the maybe the Middle Ages, where you have this poet or musician, and he would go from town to town, and he would sing, and this is how he would make his living. People would give him money for his beautiful music and poetry. Troubadours on their ceaseless crawlings through the South leaned across its benches and sang their sad songs. That is from our book. Okay, so nice work. We just covered the 21 terms in list 1 of I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. You would, if you went to Quizlet, you would have the option of starting over, or when you get to the mastery, you might do all 79 words. So please consider using Quizlet.com. I think it's something that's really great. When I was growing up, it did not exist, and this would have been very helpful in my education. And remember, you don't just use it for English class. You can use it for any class where you need to study terms, dates, or in other specific detailed information. Okay? Have a great day. Study hard. Work hard. Make it a great year. And please like my videos. I need some support. Okay? Bye-bye.